my name is Lucy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, by my mum. You very kindly agreed to film this video with me.
Under duress, a bit nervous. Not my thing.
So this is actually a hairband that my friend made me when I was 8 maybe, and then we just found them and I thought it was quite cute, so I put it on. So this video is going to be about kind of like convincing your parents to let you go to drama school, how like mum sees it.
Yeah.
Because you're from like a more academic background and you're not from like the musical theatre world, and
Definitely not.
yeah, just seeing how like my mum sees it, because a lot of you guys say, how did you convince your parents to let you go? So I thought I'd let you have mum's point of view rather than me just telling you what I think. So if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe down below to see the rest of my videos. So I've written down some questions and I sent them to mum before so she can have a little think about what she wants to say, because I feel like if we just go for it, we'll just ramble. So the first thing is going to be about like, why did you first take me to musical theatre? But I think I did ballet first, didn't I?
The reason you did ballet was, do you remember that goose that Auntie Sheila bought you when you were a baby? Goosey
Yeah,
Gander?
yeah.
And you used to listen to tapes, it was that long ago, in the evening when you went to bed, and you listened to Percy the Park Keeper for about 2 years, and I got fed up with it. So we just picked up an Angelina Ballerina CD, and then you listened to that and you became obsessed by Angelina Ballerina, and then you used to make Dad dance about the house in tutus, and so ballet became, you were just obsessed by everything ballet.
Yeah.
When you were just a baby, the minute there was a Moby song at the time came on, and when every time that came on, your legs just did this the whole time in the back of the car.
Because I didn't walk for a long time.
No, you were a bit lardy. And then, so when you went to nursery school, I took you to ballet just because you were obsessed by Angelina Ballerina, and because I wanted you to try lots of different things. I had absolutely no inclination.
I went to karate and everything.
Yeah, you did everything. Horse riding, swimming, and I just had no idea that it would end up where it has led to. To be fair, we were allowed to sit in and watch in your first class, and Gran and I came in and it was like a light bulb. Suddenly you went from this wee girl who was shy, suddenly you were like, I love this, and you were so animated. That's the first time I've ever seen you being so animated about anything. So you're about 4.
Yeah, so I started at a very, very young age. On to like when I got older, obviously I did everything when I was younger. I did ballet, horse riding, singing, dancing, everything, and it kind of got to an age at school where I had to decide, didn't I, what I wanted to do.
Every year I would say to you, you know, because you started at the beginning of the year, so I would say, what do you want to do this year? You would do it, and then at the end of the year I would say, what do you want to give up? You know, as it was getting busier and busier. So when I got to the age of like exams, I like between the two of us to try and figure out how we'll balance it. I could make myself sound like a really good mum and say I was on the ball and I managed it, and I didn't really. I just used to like leave you to it. I just used to say, have you done your homework? But you were such a keen bean that there was no way you would have let school slip, and you were always so sort of on it and organised. I mean, you worked really hard at school, but you always seemed to make time for performing arts, and right up until the very end. So as you got nearer to your A-levels,
I think all I did was ballet in the end.
You dropped stuff, but ballet for me was a brilliant relief for you during exams.
It was good to just like have the balance. I think a lot of people when they get to exams just give up everything, and I knew for me I couldn't do that.
No, you needed a break.
I needed a break, and I would have studied all day every single day.
And if you had, at that point you were planning to go and do a conventional course, and if you hadn't kept up ballet, I think it would have made your last minute U-turn so much more difficult to do. So my advice to Lucy has always been about give yourself choices in life. Don't go down one particular route, so don't focus purely on performance, or don't you know, put all your heart into academics because you might not get the place at university you want to go to. It was about having choice, and I think you've given yourself choice.
And I think on that thing about choice is like a lot of people ask about how come I didn't go to performing arts school, or like somewhere like Tring or Arts Ed or something. Why did I do academic school the whole way instead?
Because I wouldn't let you.
I did go through a phase where I kind of wanted to go to musical theatre school.
So many of your friends were going back to the UK to boarding school, and you felt that you were missing out on something, so you had this notion that you would go back to boarding school, but you would go to a boarding school that featured performing arts quite heavily. And then we went in February to look at schools, and it was so cold, and you came back and said, nah, not for me.
I wouldn't say I'm I don't know, I never know what to say. I'm not academic, as in I was never Oxbridge material, but I was clever at school because I worked very hard, and I feel like I never wanted to give up that side of the academic stuff.
You enjoyed it though.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
A bit of a nerd.
Yeah, but I was going to say that.
Yeah, so I think that was really how I balanced it between exams and like musical theatre. What was your thoughts on when I said I wanted to do a foundation? Because a lot of people struggle to convince their parents to let them do a foundation.
It was a fait accompli about the foundation because Lucy was all set. She was going back to Scotland to go to university to do history, and I'm thinking, great, we can get our house back, I can not spend the summers in my mum's, and then...
But before that, you'd always said you should do musical theatre.
No, I always said, do you want to consider doing musical theatre?
You always gave that as an option.
But when our friends were deciding to do that, I used to say, because I knew how much you loved it, I would say, are you sure you don't want to look at musical theatre courses? No, and you were absolutely adamant that you did not. And even when we were going back looking at universities, I would say, do you want to go and look? And she was adamant that that was a definite no, you didn't want to do that.
I think I partially got sucked into the whole, like, my school, I loved my school, and I always say this, Dubai College was amazing for me, but it was very academic, and I think I got a little bit sucked into that.
I also think it was fear. I think you were frightened that you weren't good enough.
Which I'm still frightened of anyway.
And I also, for me, the fear was that you weren't tough enough, and that is something that sort of, I worry about how you're going to cope with rejection, because that's part and parcel of it. But I think as you've matured and you've become much more realistic about the challenges of the industry, then I think that rejection is the expectation rather than something that's a shock, because you just expect the degree of rejection. So for me, I was quite comfortable that you were doing a conventional university course, because I felt that you were smart and you would work hard. But there was also a part of me that thought, is she going to be happy, and is she always going to say what if? And I did ask you a few times, you know, are you sure you're not going to regret this decision? And you were so adamant that you would not. And actually I think that was part of the problem. I asked you too often,
and I was too stubborn.
You were too stubborn to actually give it any thought. And then it was when you would, I remember one day you were very quiet in the car, and I said, what's wrong, about 4 times on the way home from school. This was just about 2 or 3 weeks before the exams. And you were really quiet, and you said nothing, and you said nothing the next day. You were still quiet, and
which is not like me.
No. And I knew there was an issue, I just didn't know what it was. I thought she was maybe stressing about exams, and then 2 o'clock in the morning she comes into my room crying, I've made a terrible mistake, and of course I didn't know what it was. And it transpires that her friends had all been excited about the courses they were going to do,
and I wasn't.
And you suddenly felt, and Izzy had got into Arts Ed by this point, and was living her best dream, and you were just suddenly thinking, what have I done?
Yeah. So I think foundation for me was a really good thing, and you really liked the idea of a foundation because it gave me a year to double check that that was what I wanted to do.
It gave you a chance to work, to be in that environment, to study in that environment with like-minded people, and I was frightened that it would be super catty and competitive, and that you would not be happy there. But I think so for Dad and I, it was a real an opportunity for Lucy to give it a try, and for us to be supportive, but then sort of think that she probably would change her mind. But within 2 weeks of being there, I knew that it was a definite, that you had actually made the right decision.
And then we were very aware that foundations are expensive, and they're not like a feasible option for everyone. But honestly, if it is something that you are in the position that you could do, we would really say it is worth it.
Yeah, there are also, I mean, foundation, absolutely, but there are also shorter courses that are not like a year foundation. There are some, when we were looking, there were sort of 6-month courses that are not, you know, they're about 3.5.
Yeah, they're cheaper.
And we thought because you'd left it so late, we didn't think Lucy would get a place anywhere. So we were looking at alternatives, so that if she was having a gap here, what could she do to train, because you hadn't really been doing hardcore training that a lot of people do.
So there are loads of options out there, and even if you do take a gap year, for example, like I'm going to do a video on that, because 2 of my best friends at Erdang took gap years, Meg and Abby, before they came to Erdang, so that is another option. During foundation I decided I wanted to do a course. What was it for you between like degree and diploma? Because we were always very degree.
It was a no-brainer. For me, my view was that Lucy had to do a degree, and Dad and I wouldn't have funded a diploma.
Not to discredit a diploma. I was going to say,
now that I know what I know about diploma, that would have been the wrong decision, but I was adamant that you had to get into a degree programme. If you didn't get into a degree programme, you would have to either take a gap year and work, or I had said to Lucy, well, if you don't get in after a foundation year, maybe it's just not the right thing for you.
And every family has a different opinion, and that's just what ours was, and that's, everyone thinks differently.
The reason I was adamant that I wanted you to do a degree was because even if you did a degree in musical theatre and then you decided that it wasn't really the life for you, then from that degree you could go and do a postgrad and do something, you could do a bit of work and then do a postgrad. So that was for me why I wanted you to do a degree. But I see how happy like Eleanor and Ella are on degree and actually get diploma and get the same training more or less. So,
and with many diplomas, we didn't know this at the time, you can do like a, is it a 6 month or 1 year top up part-time to top it up to a degree. For us at the time, degree was the thing that was right for me and the only thing that we really knew about, and I think that's maybe why we were so set on degree. I do have a whole video on degree versus diploma with Ella and Eleanor, which I'll be sure to link down below and in the cards, because I think that's really helpful to know like what you want to do. And I think for most people, like probably the like moral of this video is that Mum, for me, it's always been, she wants me to have options and you want me to work hard, and that's the two main things, and be happy. And I think maybe if you guys are struggling to convince your parents to let you do a non-conventional degree and go to drama school, if you can prove to them that you're hardworking, you're dedicated and you love what you're doing, hopefully they should support you in that.
If you did this video with Dad, it would be quite different, because Dad was really against Lucy going to do musical theatre. He
wants me to do accounting.
He wanted to
you can do anything with an accounting degree.
And you used to say you can't be a vet.
Yes.
But he was adamant that because she was good at maths, he wanted her to go and do accountancy, but it was just something that didn't really appeal. And you would have been miserable.
Could do it. If in 10 years I decide, oh, I've made a mistake, you can always go back, and I think as long as you have good academic grades behind you, there's always another option.
But that was you living Dad's life rather than your life.
Yeah, but Dad now completely supports what I'm doing.
He does. He does, but he does worry, how happy I am. Like I do as well, and you do. You know, we think, okay, what does the future hold? You know, am I still going to be paying her rent when she's 40?
Yep. Yeah, so I think that is it for this video. If you guys have any questions, or like your parents have any queries, put them in the comments and I'll try and answer them, or I'll ask Mum and you can help me answer them. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and having Mum back on my channel. Thanks, Mum. Thank you. So if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, and I'll hopefully see you guys very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.